What's good, everybody? I hope you're having a great day. My name is Solomon Riddell, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the extremely popular game review feature on chess.com that millions of players around the world are using all the time now. And, I don't want to seem like a hater of the game review feature on chess.com. I do think overall it is a good thing. I do think some people might overhype the use of it and what it can show you. But overall, I think that it's a good thing, but you need to know how to use it properly. I think a lot of players, don't know how to use this feature the right way. With my private students, I've talked them through a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about in this video, and we're really going to be talking about, okay, why is it a good thing? Why is the game review feature on chess.com a good thing? But how do we use it properly, and what do we avoid? What are common mistakes when it comes to using the game review feature? Now, for those of you that aren't aware of it, which most of you probably are, if you're on Lead Chess, I don't think Lead Chess has the game review feature like chess.com does. Lead Chess can give you accuracy and that kind of stuff, but I don't think it has all the same features. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong, but on chess.com, right, you finish your game. This game here I played a while back. I just picked a long game, and I won this game, but not because I played great over the board chess. This is a bullet game here. As you can see, I'm rated 2624. My opponent's rated 2604. This is actually going to affect what the game review tells you, by the way, what your rating is. We'll get into that. But in this game here, I won on time, but if you look at the position, I'm just dead lost. Sure, my pawn is close to the end of the board, but black can sacrifice for the pawn or wait until it promotes into a queen. That pawn ain't going nowhere, and black has two passers ready to roll. So resignable position for white, but this is one of those dirty flag moments, right, where you're playing bullet chess and you just make a bunch of quick moves and win on time. Now, let's click the game review. Okay, let's click this button here. So many players use this. So many players around the world have been using this a ton, and I understand why. I mean, I use it too. I use it quite a bit, especially for my over-the-board tournament games, but I do think that there are certain things that we need to keep in mind. The number one thing I want to talk about, right? We're going to be talking about 5 things, not necessarily in order of importance, but I do think one leads into the other in a smooth-ish order. So this is why I put it in this order. But okay, number 1, game rating or game, your game performance rating, your performance rating, whatever you want to call it, doesn't actually exist. It doesn't matter. Okay, now this game here, as you can see, up and down, black's winning, white's winning, black's winning. It's about tied. Black's winning. Okay, this game here was a wave. Not pretty. Okay, this line here, that gray line that you see, okay, that gray line that you see right there, that is the equal, right, line. So if you see a game that's just dead even the whole time, that's a good battle. If you see a wave up and down, it's very back and forth, very all over the place. As you can see, neither of us played super well. And I had a lower accuracy than my opponent, but watch this. My accuracy was 70.9, and it's going to tell me that I played like a 2350. Okay, now for those of you that are rated lower than me, there's a good chance you've never seen your game rating this high. Even if you play 100%, 98%, you still don't get to 2350. Of course, it depends how much lower your rating is. But let's say your rating's 500 and you play 98% accuracy. You're not going to get 2350 here. You're just not, right? And if you're Magnus Carlsen, you're also not going to see 2350. This number is going to be raised. So this number right here, we could play the same exact game. If you and I play a game online sitting right next to each other, we play 2 different opponents, and somehow the chess games match up, which is like pretty close to no chance at all. But let's just say that happened. Right? We plug in our accuracy. Our accuracy should be the same, right? I should be at 70.9. You should be at 70.9. But based on our ratings, we're going to get a different game rating. So what I would say to people is, don't worry about this. Like, this doesn't really matter. It doesn't exist. It's all based on your rating. And I understand why chess.com does that in a sense. You don't want to be telling 500 rated players that they're playing like 2900 level. You don't want to be telling Magnus Carlsen that they're playing like a 700. Rating is a difficult thing because the game of chess itself, it's hard to assess how someone played. You can guess their rating. Like, I think Gotham Chess has a guess the ELO thing, right? Well, I know he does. I don't really watch it, but he has that whole series. So you can guess someone's rating, but you can't quantify it, right, objectively. So, it's a very subjective thing in a lot of cases. And this number here, again, all I'm trying to say is that you don't need to get too stuck up on this, right? If you're 1100 and you play really well, you're probably going to get told, hey, you played like a 1500. If you play really bad, you're probably going to be told you play like a 700. I could play horrible. It's not going to tell me I played like a 700 ever. In my experience, I've never seen that. Okay, so that's the first thing. Just don't get too worried about this. Okay, that's not something to think too much time about, because I've had players go, oh my gosh, I played this great game and I played like a 1400. I played so good, and I'm thinking you actually probably played better than a 1400, but because your rating is 800 or 900 or whatever, it's telling you 1400. But if I played that game, it would tell me I'm playing like a 2900 potentially, right? So that's something to think about. Now, this is really important. Okay, that first one's more just kind of an informational thing. That's good to know, but it's not like super important in terms of improving your game. This next one I think is very important, potentially the most important out of all of the things we're about to mention. It's close, but okay, let's just get into it. Number 2, getting great and brilliant moves doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, I know that sounds strange, but when you're looking at all these types of moves, right, this is like, it's very fun to look at. It's very colorful. You got all these different things, right? And you get to look at, oh my gosh, I had 3 great moves. I had 16 best. I had all these things. Oh wow, I had 5 mistakes. I had 1 blunder, all that kind of stuff. A lot of players get caught up on how many brilliants did I find, right? How many greats did I find? And I think what this can cause is players trying to play crazy sacrificial chess more than they need to in order to get a brilliant, in order to get a great, because based on what I've seen, I've never seen a great move, I don't think, that wasn't some kind of sacrifice. Or if it's not a sacrifice, it's very rare. I mean, look at all the best moves we had. 16 of my moves were the best move. The best move. 19 of theirs were the best move, and those weren't called great or brilliant. So when you're talking about great and brilliant, you're talking about some level of sacrificing a piece. And a lot of players, during their games, they keep looking for, okay, what's a brilliant move? How can I sacrifice my knight? How can I sacrifice my bishop? How can I go crazy here like Mikhail Tal and pull off a brilliancy here? And the moment they get a brilliant move, they start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm improving so much. It doesn't matter, in my opinion. It's fun to get one, don't get me wrong, but most of my games, I don't get a brilliancy. I don't. And that's okay. I'm not worried about it. It doesn't, as long as I'm playing solid chess, this is what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for, I mean, best move is great. Right? Well, of course, I just said best is great, but okay. Best move is what we're aiming for. That's awesome. And if you get a great, that's cool. If you get a brilliant, that's cool. But what I'm looking for is, hey, I want my moves to be best. I want my moves to be excellent or good. This is the range I'm wanting, right? This is what I want to avoid. Now, there's certain opening stuff, like the hippo, for example, where the first 10 moves when I play the hippo, it will often tell me, oh, mistake, oh, inaccuracy, oh, mistake. I don't care about that because I know I'm going into a certain opening system that I've prepared. But once I'm in the middle game and the end game, those are things that I obviously want to avoid. I don't want to blunder. But just remember in your chess games, right? Like, for example, if you're up a piece, if you're up 3 points, you're up a knight, or let's say you're up the exchange, whatever it may be. Okay, don't feel the rush or the pull to start looking for all this crazy, risky attacking chess just to get a brilliant game. Okay? When you do that, when you play risky, sure, sometimes it works out, and it often doesn't. When you're up a piece, play boring. Play boring. When you're down a piece, play crazy, complicate things. But when I'm up material, I mean, this might be the biggest piece of advice I can offer to chess players, that most chess players, nearly every chess player, I would say under 1600 could really use, work on, is going, you know what, the moment I'm up material, I'm going to trade down, and I'm not going to play risky here. I'm going to limit my opponent's activity. I'm not just going to sit there in the quarter and waddle my king back and forth, but I am going to just play solid chess. I'm not going to go, why would I take a risk? Why? What's the point of that? Right? I mean, there's no good reason. Okay, so, but when you're down material, you're losing objectively. So at that point, yeah, let's complicate things. Let's make this game crazy. I've said this before on the channel. If I'm playing a tournament game and one of you guys walks over and looks at my position, I want you guys to see a position where I'm up a pawn or I'm up 2 pawns, and the position's just kind of boring, but I'm just up a pawn or 2. I'd rather have that than I'm up a pawn or 2, but somehow our kings have switched sides and there's 4 queens on each side of the board, and oh my gosh, there's 8 knights and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so obviously that's not very realistic, but you get the point. All right, so again, don't worry about these. Don't worry about these. It's fun when you get one, but what you really want to focus on is playing good moves, good, solid moves. Don't always be looking for a brilliancy, and just because you find a brilliancy doesn't mean that that's necessarily one of your best games, right? Some of the best games that I've seen people play, there's no brilliancy. Maybe there's no great. Maybe it was just a good positional kind of game where you took advantage of a square, you took advantage of a weakness, you activated your pieces, you grounded down your opponent. Those are the kind of things that don't get those super fun double exclam moves, but those are the kind of things that are going to win you more games in the long run. Quick announcement, y'all, that I'm giving out a 30% off discount code for all of my online courses in the month of April, including the Hippopotamus Defense, the Czech PIRC Defense, the Ponziani Opening, how to play Knight C3 against the Scandinavian Defense, and my new course, over 11 hours in length, how to play the modern Scandinavian defense as black against e4. This is meant to be a lifetime repertoire. If you're interested in any of those, go down to the link below in the description or the pinned comment, plug in the discount code CHESS25, and if you do so before the end of April, you will receive 30% off on your purchase, no matter what course or courses you decide to get. Let's head back to the video. Let's click that little magnifying glass. So as you can see, bullet chess here, very messy game, okay? A lot of stuff for both sides here. Number 3, right? One thing I want us to work on too is looking at the fact that sometimes eval doesn't change that much. Okay, so let's turn on analysis here. Okay, let's go to e4. So e4 is played, right? Now here, I played knight to g1, right? And that's a mistake, right? That's a mistake. It's not a blunder, but it's a mistake. I gave up some eval there, right? I went from, maybe slightly better to pretty much just dead even, to about 0.5, right? 0.67 according to this, but once it thinks more, it doesn't care as much. And sometimes a mistake, you see a bigger eval difference. Sometimes you see a smaller difference. Sometimes it tells you made a mistake, but you gave up hardly any eval at all. At that point, it's like, okay, I didn't find the best move, but was my move really a mistake? If I gave up 0.2 eval, is that really a mistake? Right? So, or whatever number it may be, right? So that's something to think about as well. So you want to look at not just, oh, I got a question mark here, horrible move. You want to look at, okay, wait, what was the eval difference as well? Okay, you want to look at that. Okay, if you gave up 1, 2, 3 points in eval, that's a mistake, if not a blunder. If you gave up 0.15, if you gave up 0.2, welcome to playing chess. Okay, you don't got to be, too worried about it. Now, so that's just something I want us to think about, right? Don't worry too much about the fact that, oh, I got a question mark. That matters, but what you want to look at more is, okay, what is the eval change there? That's what you want to think about, okay? Next up, at number 4, in terms of how to use this properly, okay, you don't want to just look around and go, okay, how many, okay, I had, okay, and this kind of goes to our earlier point, but, oh, okay, I had a great move there. Oh my gosh, I had a great move there. Awesome. Okay, what other great moves did I have? Okay, ooh, I had another great move. Awesome. Okay, what else? Okay, that's it. Okay, I had 3 great moves. Okay, next game I hope to get 4. No, that's going to make your game more risky. In order to play a great move, you're often having to play crazy type of chess. Now, in this position here, it's telling me that taking the knight was great, which is actually kind of rare. So there are some exceptions. When it comes to a brilliancy, that's where I've never seen anything other than a sacrifice. But a lot of great moves as well tend to be, some kind of sacrificial option or some kind of move that really impacts the game in some kind of strong way. I mean, this position here, right? I mean, we're really talking about things that don't matter all that much. If we're looking at this position here, bishop to e4 is apparently a great move. Okay, all I really care about is that it's the best move. That's what I care about. Look at the eval difference here. If I went to bishop f3, the engine barely cares at all. So just something to think about. All right, but again, the greats are fine. I would say the main thing that players really get stuck on is the brilliancies, okay? Because that really can make you start to wonder, okay, where's the sacrifice? Where's the sacrifice? Where's the sacrifice? When a lot of chess games, you don't need to sacrifice. You're up a piece. You don't need to play risky. The engine might find some kind of crazy way to mate in 9 that, you give up all your material and then some. Why would I take that risk, though? Why wouldn't I take the boring win that I know I'll get 100% in 12 moves than the crazy, super risky win that I could easily miscalculate in 9 moves? There's no reason to risk that, all right? So that's something to think about. What you do want to look at, number 4, blunders matter a lot. That's the first thing you want to look at. Sometimes when I see an inaccuracy, I'm like, whatever, right? And honestly, with the game review too, sometimes it will tell you something's an inaccuracy, and then it will think about it more and go, oh, that's actually a good move, but it doesn't change the game review portion of it. So that's a little frustrating, but okay. What you want to do at the start of your games is look through and look at blunders. Blunders is when you have 2 question marks. Sometimes 1 question mark, you don't got to worry about it. You do want to look at it, but you don't always have to worry about it. When I play the hippo, I get question marks all the time when I start my game. Mistake, 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 I don't care. But when I see 2 question marks, whoa, let's take a second here. So let's take a second here in the game. This is a blunder. Why is that a blunder? Well, rook to f8, right? Rook to f8. And it's probably calling this a great move because they're going to win material here, I'm guessing. But yeah, that's a great move, I guess. I mean, it's the best move. That's all I'm worried about. What should I have done instead? Rook to e7. That's the best move, right? Because in that case, if you play here, my bishop's not pinned. I just take your bishop. And if you go here, pinning my bishop, what happens? Rook e8 mate. And again, guys, this is why I'm saying the game review is just kind of all over the place with what it says. Earlier, a mistake, right? Gave up about 0.5 in eval. In this position here, we went from about plus 2.26, somewhere in there, plus 2 point something, to mate in 1. I would call this a blunder, personally, right? So you just take everything with a grain of salt, but you do want to look at blunders at the start and really timestamp that in your head and go, okay, this is the position. Maybe I'll take a screenshot of it. Maybe I'll take 5 minutes here and just keep replaying this in my head. Why was that a mistake? Okay, rook f8, my bishop's blocked. I can't do anything. Keep replaying that. Keep going over it, right? Keep mulling over that. Misses also matter. This is point number 5. Misses matter. And a miss is really when you give up an advantage. Okay, so a blunder is often when you mess things up. A miss is often when you're at the top of the mountain and then you go back to where everyone else is in terms of the eval. That's what I mean by that. So knight c3, right? What could we have done here against the elephant gambit? Well, apparently knight takes e5 and taking here are great moves, great options, right? +1 just about. When I play here, I'm still okay. I'm not losing, but I did miss an opportunity to have a much better position. So misses and blunders are the biggest thing that I would say to focus on. The other stuff you can focus on as well. And sometimes I'll see a mistake or an inaccuracy, quote unquote, and sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I shouldn't have played that. And sometimes I'll go, you know what? I liked the move, and I still like it. I still like the idea there. So those are just some things to think about when it comes to the game review segment. Let me know if you found this helpful. I mean, I just think a lot of players with the game review feature, look for those great moves, look for those brilliancies especially. And again, it doesn't matter if you get a brilliancy. What matters is, and it doesn't matter what your performance rating is, because that's all based on your rating. Like, it's all an algorithm based on your rating. So this isn't even real. If I played this on some 500 account, it would tell me I'm playing like a 900 or something, right? This is what matters, right? Your accuracy, right? And even when you're looking at the accuracy itself, it doesn't actually help you improve. What helps you improve is looking at the game. But it is kind of fun to see, okay, what did the engine think of my play? For me as a Hippo player, you often lose maybe 5%, 10%, somewhere in there, 5 to 8% accuracy just by playing the Hippo because the engine doesn't like your first 10 moves very much. So you could play the Hippo just how you want to play it, and then after that play a perfect game, and it ain't gonna give you no 100 because you played the Hippo. So you got to also consider the fact that they're going after your openings as well. If you're playing a very sound opening, if you're playing the Roy Lopez, for example, which I absolutely hate, by the way, it's gonna love it, right? But if you're playing the CHARLICK Gambit, you're going to get punished in terms of your performance rating for that. So that's just something to keep in mind, right? But again, right, don't worry too much about brilliancies. They're fun when they happen, But my biggest advice to people is to always try to improve your pieces. Don't allow your opponent to improve theirs. Look for weaknesses, prevent weaknesses on your own side. When you're down material, don't trade. You don't want to simplify there. But if you're up material, you do want to trade. You do want to trade down there. So again, hope you all enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know about the game review feature. Has it helped your game improve? I think the nice thing about the game review is that automatically you kind of get to see the flow of the game, which is cool. And you get to automatically see, oh, that was a blunder. Right? You don't have to go through every single little move and you know, do it all yourself. It gives you the map, but I think that we need to really think through things and not just, you know, worry about what's next to our little moves, okay? We want to worry about the moves themselves, the ideas behind them, if we're playing risky, if we're not playing risky, that kind of stuff. See you in tomorrow's video. To finish out, I wanted to give a big shout out to my Patreon community, specifically Walter, Rob, Steve, Rob, Ray, and Roger, and the rest of my Patreon community. Thank you guys for your support. If you haven't checked out the Patreon already, there are some exclusive benefits that you gain by becoming a member. I look forward to seeing you over there, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.